What's up, y'all? Dave Bloom here. Inspired by my buddy Mark Szymanski, I thought I would just code in public or build in public right now. So I'm just going to record a quickie showing you something that I thought was pretty nifty about having your HTML and CSS sitting right next to each other and being able to solve problems with utility classes. I'm taking a crack at just building some of the components in Tailwind UI with Aviator. But I wanted to simplify it a bit, so I'm not going to like completely lift their design. I was over here just building a generic kind of what I would call a text and image banner, which is like a hero that has these two panes. One has text in it, and the other one has some kind of media or art or image. And I had my heart set on having this image on larger screens like tablet landscape, laptop, and desktop go the height of the viewport, but I have a little bit of a problem because my sticky header takes up space. So if it goes 100 viewport height units, it'll go below. You can see that I've actually managed to do it. I'll show you how it's done. So I wanted a nice, like, neat, 100, or like fill the rest of the viewport while also being about 50% this way. And so when I start scrolling, the image just disappears and I can do some other stuff. So how I ended up doing this was I went over to my header template. If anybody's worked with like Beaver Builders, worked with Themer, Aviator has templating, so you can build a layout for headers and footers and custom post type layouts and all that good stuff. And this is something that might be a little bit taboo, but I have always felt like the height of your navigation bar is kind of a crucial thing to keep, I don't know, styled or constant, or it's like a value that you need when you're offsetting scrolling or when you're like scrolling to navigation links and you want to be offset in a way by the height of a fixed navigation bar. I'm a huge fan of sticky or fixed persistent navigation. So when somebody makes a decision to convert on your site, they don't have to go all the way back up to the top to find your navigation. It's just there. So what I ended up doing was I just gave the navigation bar a height. I actually gave like kind of the inner subsection, like the first child of the header, a height equal to a custom property called height navbar. The way I like to name my custom properties is I start with the CSS property name. In this case, it's height, and then I give it a semantic name afterwards. So height navbar. You can see it outlined in red here. And since I have my CSS in this handy little drawer here, I don't have to go somewhere else to find it. I don't have to open another panel. I just kind of pull it open, and I'm able to define that height on the root. Here is the height for mobile. So it looks like that. And that was pretty good for me. I think even I might just bump that down slightly. Maybe I'll just split the difference, 2.5. And I don't even have to type 2.5. I can actually just highlight this 3 and option down, and just it'll go down by tenths. That seems about right. And so when I pop it back up to a tablet, yeah, that might be a little bit too hefty. I'm even finding ways to fix this now. If I go 1024, yeah, that's not enough. I'm okay with this. I like a big fat nav on a tablet. Who's looking at tablets in portrait mode anyway? And then once we get to a larger size, we have a more like kind of standard, almost an inch tall navigation bar. Maybe this comes down a little bit. And so that won't make a difference in what I'm doing. So now I'm kind of fixing the height of my navigation bar, which fixing the height in CSS is often kind of a no-no. But considering how useful this is, I don't mind giving it a height instead of just giving this whole thing padding to give it its height. Let me get rid of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my changes. And that saves everything. That saves the HTML I've written. That saves the CSS I've written. I'll pop back over to here and refresh. And I'm being very careful not to save this because that would overwrite my globals. So when I refresh this, I'm now able to use that custom property as a CSS variable inside of my utilities. So if I have this thing here, I kind of want this guy to be essentially the calculation of 100 viewport units minus that height navbar property. So I double click this, and right here you can see it. I'm going to bump this up a little bit so you can see it even better. And it's right here. And so what this means is on large screens and above, or on 1024 pixel wide screens and larger, make the height, and this is an abbreviation for height, it could be just height, make the height a calculation of 100 viewport height units minus, and these are spaces, and you need that to keep all, like the whole CSS class one string, 100 viewport height units minus my height navbar constant. And so if I, adjusted this, I could change that if I wanted to. But now on large screens and above, this baby is going to be exactly at the bottom of the viewport, even with a sticky header taking up space. Now, these are super meticulous things. Nobody might notice this. I think that I would have been happy just not doing this and having this be a little bit shorter than the viewport, or maybe a little bit taller. But these kinds of little meticulous things are what I'm baking into the components that I'm building. And I just kind of like it in a bento boxy kind of organized, uniform way. And so a UI probably wouldn't give you this kind of control. You could, write your own custom CSS on top of anything, but I think that this makes a whole lot of sense. And if I save it, clean up the code a little bit, the best part about it is that since it's declarative, I can basically just copy this and bring it anywhere else I need it to be, as long as I also bring these guys over for the ride. And it's not a whole lot of code to move from one place to the other. Also, probably something that I'm considering to just bake into the design system in general. So I'll be able to do a whole lot of other things with this property, like offset scrolling positions and other stuff that just might benefit from having a fixed height navbar. So just an example of some of the craziness that's going on with some of these utility classes. But I really like to be able to do calculations in there. I actually think let's just try this. This might not work, but if I actually got rid of the calc, we're going to try this. Let's go save that old guy that works. And I'm just going to get rid of the calc. Nah, that doesn't work. Okay. So sometimes you can actually do kind of crazy calculations here, but this one might be a little bit too crazy. But with a lot of other things, you're actually able to do calculations right in the code. So if this actually makes sense to you, let me know, because that might actually be something that I tell the CSS parser that I have built into this editor to do this. This is the building in public part. I'm kind of weighing whether or not to do that. I feel like this is a little bit on the edge. I might see if I can get this happening, because I would like to be able to just write mathematical, or write calculations or calc inners as the property of some of these special utility classes. But I guess I'm going to noodle on that. I just figured I would do this live. That's what building in public is, right? So uncomment that, full height thingy, save everybody. And that's the kind of stuff that you can do in Aviator. Next up, what I'm building actually is another panel over here where I can start to write some custom JavaScript in case I want to have my JavaScript right in my third hand. Always been a big sticking point for me to have to go somewhere else to write custom JavaScript in a page builder, and it's nice to just have that right there. So stay tuned. I'll maybe be demoing this custom JavaScript panel in another video. But for now, take care.